Hello, 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 and welcome to the 35th episode of the Collective Spotlight, officially doing it here in what we're calling the new collective. We will officially open tomorrow, but we have a nice little member preview that's going to go on here in about 20 minutes. But before we do official comic book store things, I wanted to bring on good friend of the store, Adam Barnhardt.
Danny.
Real quick,
Yes.
this interview better be the best interview ever because we could really use you out here right now in the trenches.
That's a lot of pressure. The
Adam?
all new, all different collective.
The all new, all different collective. You're damn right.
Collective reborn, right?
Right.
So Adam, we talked to you last 2 months ago because of the Scouts release schedule. The book was Shite Show. We call it a lot of fun names here in the store.
Yes.
But issue 2 finally dropped last week.
It
Talk
did.
to us a little bit about what that roller coaster ride was of essentially 2 months of people being able to pick up your book.
It's great, man. It's great. I will say I do think that what do you want to call it, process, that situation, that method or what have you is certainly beneficial. Just because even from the creator standpoint, you're putting everything into the promotion stuff, and marketing and promotion better than anyone, really. It just got exhaustive after number 1, so that kind of gave me a breather between issues 1 and 2. But we're back in the saddle, man. Issue 2 came out last week, and then number 3, I'm trying to look at the schedule. I think number 3 comes out in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
3 weeks from now, yeah. That's when we were potentially playing around with some flights, I'm like, ooh, could we make this happen? Now, looks like we might make that happen over the summer, but I think we'll get you a tan here in Florida at some point.
Yes. Yeah, it's snowing out, man. That's what I said. It snowed yesterday. I'm like, all right, I should message Danny back.
Dude, it's like literally, I'm sweating moving the store. I would kill for some snow.
No, I'll trade you, man. I will trade. I'll move anything. Whatever you want moved, I'll be there in a sec.
So last time we talked, Shit Show 1, we got to talk about that world building, which was that family doing the circus, and then kind of at the very end, Rich's biggest nemesis kind of shows up. Talk to me a little bit about issue 2 without spoiling it, about how we kind of now get into the actual superhero-y part of this tale.
Yeah, I mean, so number 2, I mean, it expands it a little bit more. We do introduce some heroes that aren't in this family and in the Magnificent McCoys, even though it is very brief. You see them, but the heroes are there. And you, how do I say this without spoiling it? I mean, yeah, it is pretty full superhero-y. We do find out what happened to the heroes. We do find out what set Rich on the path. I mean, you kind of knew why Rich became Rich and the hero formerly known as Legend, but now you see and you learn what goes on. I guess that kind of does go into full spoilers, but I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later, so that all takes place in issue 2, man. And it was one of my favorites to write, even I mean, I wrote that like a year ago, as long as comics take to make, and looking back at everything I've written over the year, there's definitely a few sequences in number 2 that I'm like, man, that's still some of the favorite stuff I've written.
And one of the cool things I thought, and granted, when I was selling the book to people throughout the course of issue 1, I kind of said, I told them who the McCoys were and who Rich was. And then I'm like, and at the end, big baddie comes and Rich has to make a decision. Clearly, which way you made Rich go, and we kind of expected him to fight. He wasn't just going to leave everybody. But knowing that Rich is kind of a terrible person, for a second, would Rich have thought, this isn't my problem, I'm just gonna move on? Like, could he have continued to be a drifter and just moved away from that?
I don't know. I don't think necessarily Rich is a bad person. I mean, he's in a terrible spot. That's very obvious from every single cover, from Shit Show 1 to Shit Show 2 to even Shit Show 3. He is certainly not in the world's best spot. I think he really wants to fight, man. But that's the problem with him, is he already lost to him once, so he doesn't really. I don't think he thinks he can beat him again.
Okay, so I get that now.
I think that's, I don't know, that's just kind of his I mean, he's already at rock bottom, and that's, I think you'll see from project to project eventually. That's kind of my shtick or gimmick or whatever you want to call it. It's just the tortured hero type stuff and just treating these protagonists like shit. I feel bad. But it's, and that's part of the thing to make him human. I always say I wanted to make like a Superman type or a Sentry type character very human. And it's just kind of curb stomping Rich over and over and over and over again. We'll see, man. There is one issue left in this arc. You can kind of already tell where it's going. Issue 2 didn't and necessarily the highest of notes. So hopefully number 3 injects some good vibes. This book needs some good vibes.
We need it's about time, man.
There needs to be a little hope. Yeah, I mean I've talked to with other people as well. I think we've even talked about this here too. That this story is very much about battling your inner demons and the anxieties of everyday life and all of that stuff, and there's with all that darkness, there is some light, there is some hope. So there's bound to be some hope.
Something good's got to happen to these.
Maybe TSHOW Volume 4 or something, but we'll get there eventually.
So you had mentioned, you got 3 issues per arc. Do you prefer that? I know some guys like to go 5, 4 for their miniseries or for their arcs. Do you find that 3 works out? Because you kind of have first issue be beginning, you got your second issue's middle, third issue's end. How do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's all sorts of variables involved in this type of stuff. I have mentioned before that I originally hoped for Volume 1 to be a 4-issue arc. But I was writing issue 4, there was just maybe 5-6 pages of actual good story, and then the rest, it would have been 15 pages of filler or something, So I did what I could to make sure to condense. I'd rather have 3 issues that zoom right by rather than 4 issues that kind of, the pacing's not quite there, especially like a penultimate issue or an issue 2 or any issue in the run that's just kind of there just as filler. I'm not a huge filler type of guy. I don't like consuming that type of stuff, so I don't want to write something. So that's why everything moves at like almost a breakneck pace.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal preference. I'd rather have that than 5 issues where 2 of the issues or 1.5 issues or could have done without this,
Well, and I love that, and I think a lot of readers respect that because, especially with, I don't want to throw anything around, but the big 2, sometimes you're forced to write more. And, it's happened with television, like Lost. They tell people, please give us more. It's such a great, but the writer is the writer, and you can't add where there's not something to be added.
And that's the great thing about creator-owned comics, man. You get to tell the story, and Scout's been great to work with. They've made suggestions and stuff that we've implemented, but they haven't put down any limitation. You get filler episodes on TV all the time. You get clip episodes all the time just because the network ordered X amount of episodes, and then you're watching Seinfeld, and even Seinfeld had a clip episode, just because we don't have the story, so let's just repackage everything else. So I didn't want to really get into that, and Scout's been great. I mean, Scout didn't say, Adam, you must do 20 issues to fill out this story. So that helped me.
And that leads me to ask, so we have issue 3 set. I actually looked it up April 7th. So literally it's like almost feels like 3 weeks, but it feels like right around the corner. Mm-hmm. So April 7th, the first story arc will end. Mm-hmm. When would you, in theory, are you done with what it would be issue 4? Like, have you written it already? Is it?
I'll tell you that I'm not sure if I have written 20 TSHOW issues. in the main story. I mean, it's all written. We are working on volume 2. I am comfortable saying that. I'm not sure. It's not greenlit by any stretch of the imagination. But Samir and I have started working on volume 2. Volume 2 is written, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5. The whole, what I have planned is already written and in the hopper. So it's just a matter of getting the art teams assembled and green lighting. And you know how long volume 1 took, So you know how long comics take. And even then, it wasn't that long compared to the world of comics. We assembled and got 3 issues done within the span of 8 months or so, which is pretty quick by comics standards.
Well, and Samir is in Brazil, so I'm assuming you guys do everything, digitally, through Zoom and stuff like that. So, talk to me about having to do that. Like, have you guys ever met in person?
Never, ever. Never, ever. Well, it doesn't help that we met at the onset of the pandemic as well. That doesn't help. But no, Samir's been great to work with, man. And that's the thing. I didn't want to do volume 2. The volume 2 story is peak shit show, probably, man. I've kind of been pitching. I don't want to give too much away, but it's got some killer Weekend at Bernie's type vibes.
Ooh,
I'll say that much.
Favorite movie ever, and that's like, now my mind is running. How does this Shameless meets The Boys superhero? How does Weekend?
How do we fit Weekend at Bernie's? It's very, you'll get major Weekend at Bernie's type vibes. So that's that. Yeah, we started. Smear's been great to work. The whole creative team has been. I hardly have any notes for Samir anymore. Early on, I had notes, but we've worked together 3 issues now, and he interprets my scripting beautifully. He makes it look a hell of a lot better than I would. That's the same for Warnia with the colors and letter squids. Letter squids, man. The first page for issue 3, I tweeted process shots on Twitter the other night. And it involves Rich in some chains. That's open for interpretations. Maybe he has a kink or something. I don't know. But it does open with Rich and chains. In letter squids, man. If you see the first page, it's on my Twitter. The lettering work he did with that's nuts, man. He's an artist of the highest caliber.
It's funny you mentioned, because Steven was actually just talking about letter squids and how if we end up having a project, we definitely reach out to them because it looks really good. There was something else they recently lettered that wasn't shit show that we also thought was cool. I'm trying to remember what it was.
He's doing Frank at Home. He does that for Scout.
Yeah, and then I think he's doing all sorts of Mad stuff, Cave coming forward. I think I'll have to look at it. It's another friend of the store's. So I got you here for a couple more minutes before I have to go make sure the store is still standing up.
Probably should work, yes.
So 2 questions for you.
Yes.
The secret that ended up actually being such a good secret, I think people literally still might not know, of the Christmas story that was in the back of some of the first issues. Is that going to be collected in the first trade paperback? What are your guys' plans with that?
I have too big of a plan for the Christmas story. I don't think that'll make it in the trade paper. That is also coming out. I'm not sure if I was supposed to say that or not, but that will be coming out shortly after issue 3. You know how trades are. I mean, it's not too long after issue 3 trades will come out. I don't want the Christmas story there, because the Christmas story, how I plan is, we know Rich and Santa are in the sleigh. So each Christmas, I have it blocked into 5 chunks. So each Christmas is the same sleigh ride where they just recall different memories, and it almost morphs into a nice little what's it called? Jimmy Stewart was that? Oh, A Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life or whatever.
Well, it feels like a real good Christmas episode. Like, you watch your sitcom and you're going to get one Christmas episode early November, or like early December, late November. That's what you get with Shit Show, right?
Yeah, that's the Shit Show. That's the plan, man. There's that's what I want to do with Christmas. So I don't think the Christmas will be in the trade. We are working on some surprises for the trade, I think. I've asked. I'll say that. I should say we're working on it, because Adam has thought of stuff and Adam has asked.
Adam has pitched something.
Yes, but there's no really we involved at this point. I do know what we're working on. getting the trade out, so it'll be out. I don't want to say shortly, but it'll be out this year.
Usually Scout does a good job. I wouldn't be surprised if summer somewhere in there. This is just me as a retailer guessing, but
you're good at that, man. Summer, we'll say that summer 2021.
Summer. All right. So before I let you go, just because not only are you a comic writer, not only are you a nerd, but you also work and write for comicbook.com. Justice League Snyder Cut for you, yes or no?
That's a broad quite like, have I seen it? Will I watch it?
Were you excited? Is it your cup of tea, or is it just another thing?
I'll say this. I don't like tweeting about stuff I don't like, really. I try to keep my Twitter positive.
Okay.
And at the same time, I have already seen it, but I haven't tweeted much about it. So if you connect the dots there. Okay,
dots connected. I like see, and that's the journalist in you giving me that. That's the media answer right there.
It is. It's a good movie. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's a good movie. Justice League fans will love it. If you're a fan of like 300 or anything, it is full, unadulterated Zack Snyder. I'll say that much.
There we go. That's what we like to hear. Yes. Well, Adam, best of luck with issue 2. We'll try to get you back on here for issue 3 in a couple of weeks. And we will try to get you down here for the summer so that you get a tan. We'll bring you lots of SPF. What do you want, 15, 30? We got like 60 if you need it.
60, yeah. The more SPF, the better, I guess.
But take it easy, man. Don't get hurt in the snow, and we'll see you real soon, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Howell. Have a good one.
You too. So that was our good friend Adam Barnhardt, writer of Shit Show. Issue 2 is already on shelves. Issue 3 comes out April 7th. And I am going to run because we are literally opening the new collective as we speak. If you are a member, come on down until 8. First couple of members get one of these T-shirts for free. Take it easy.